Hello, so we're back. I'm gonna review this from the hill. Um, Batya Sega. But um, she's actually is us. I'm sure they're like, oh, we have a Jew because look, Kanye is a money making thing. So every media wants to talk about it, but sometimes I think they don't want to, you know. So, but she's a very reasonable lady. Most of the time, even if I don't agree with her, I actually think hardly of what she said because she's very persuasive and very um, um, she's a thinker. So um, she's not you know um, that emotional of saying things without thinking through about it. You know, um, and she always argues and talks in good faith, good faith arguments. So she's somebody I would like to listen to, and she's a Jew, so a very good Jew. So
Batya.
So we're in week three of rapper Ye West's anti-Semitism scandal, and Ye, formerly known as Kanye, just keeps doubling down. Since tweeting his intention to go DEFCON 3 on Jewish people, Ye went on to
Defcon
blast the
three.
Jewish media, Jewish doctors, and quote Jewish record labels in subsequent interviews. He's been dropped by Adidas, Balenciaga, The Gap, and JP Morgan Chase,
And
with
the
some
boy's still not
estimating that his
giving up.
comments about Jews have cost the rapper upwards of $1 billion. But he's not showing any signs of slowing down. Last Friday, he showed reporters a spreadsheet of Jewish media
She
executives
haven't.
at top entertainment
Oh my
corporations.
goodness, what's wrong with
Quote,
this
I didn't
guy?
realize that it was anti Semitic to say, hey, I have a Jewish attorney. I have a Jewish.
Look, it's not just meant to say you have a Jewish attorney, but if you have a spreadsheet, there's something wrong with you. If you, if you have a spreadsheet, but let's see what Batya said. If you have a
Jewish
spreadsheet,
record label. I have a Jewish contractor, West told reporters last weekend. He's right. It's not anti Semitic to say those things.
but you have a
And while a
spreadsheet.
person might need to be an anti Semite to find the time to compile an Excel spreadsheet with all the
Oh,
names
you
of
think?
Jewish executives in the entertainment industry, it's not anti Semitic to point out the fact that there are a lot of them. As Professor Wilfred Riley pointed out last week in our discussion about crime, facts can't be racist. The
Some
problem isn't that Ye pointed out
um
that a lot of
facts can't be used for racism. Nothing is racist. The action that you take from it can be racist. So a lot of stuff is information is not racist, right? So that I agree with her, but the interpretation is
executives are Jewish. It's that he believes that their Jewishness is an important factor in their positions, their success, and the influence they wield.
now this what Kanye is saying. Like I said in one of my videos, I said it is not unusual in the African American community. Um, um, was it Charlemagne the God has said something like that, and now he's like, oh, and then people pointed out to him that you have said those things, so um, it's not um, yeah yeah, facts are not racist. I mean, like she said, but just let's go on.
There's a difference between saying the executives I've
That's
dealt with have
very
been Jewish, a fact, and saying Jewish record labels get paid off to promote genocide against black people, which is something.
wow. If it's true, prove it. See, people conspiracy theories is like they come up the CIA just I say, where is it? Let's see. Would you show the person?
Thing
You,
Ye has
you
said.
didn't handle your money very well. Some of these musicians, right? They get the money and they spend it like there is no tomorrow. It's like you, and I think in the future we're going to see this with YouTubers. You have a lot of YouTubers who are probably making millions or making a lot of money that they will never make, because some of them don't have a lot of, they can't do anything else. And as time goes on, YouTube is going to go away, or it's not going to be the way it is, and people's income will come down. So you will find out that people are going to be, and they expect. So if you don't invest your money,
There's
you
a
know,
difference between saying that Jewish organizations like the Anti Defamation League pushed Adidas to break ties with Kanye, a fact, and
facts.
saying, as Kanye did, that the term Jewish media is a redundant statement, suggesting that the media is a coordinated
Yes,
Jewish enterprise that's out to
it's
get
not
him.
Jewish media.
There's a difference
I'll
between
say it's
pointing
not Jewish
out that your
media.
doctor and trainer are Jewish and accusing them of colluding with the media because they and the media are part of the same ethnicity as Ye did.
Yeah.
These may seem like small distinctions, but they really aren't. They are the difference between the truth, which can never be racist, and the kind of conspiratorial thinking that led to the biggest atrocities in human history. It's never racist to point out facts. The definition of racism is
So this lady works at a hill. This How does a hill hire somebody as great as this lady and somebody horrible as Joy or whatever her name is, who gave the whole nonsense? And I'm assuming that Batya probably doesn't like Bibi, you know, but she's not. I think um, I read something. The reason why she's she's a left winger, right? And but she's more willing to listen to people on the right and give them the benefit of a doubt, like, you know, that they have an argument. So it's not like she's not a woman of the right, you know. She's not a woman of the right, but she does care about justice. From everything I read, um, a few things I've come across. Um, she, what was the book? She just came out with a new book. I'm gonna check it out. Oh my goodness, book. What was the book? What was the book? Bad news. Bad news. Yeah. Yeah. She's only 41 and she already have the gray hair. Uh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, cause I think I
judging
saw
someone's
her around
actions
that.
based on a prejudice about their race, which is the only way that Ye is capable of talking about Jews these days. By contrast, I want to highlight another video that's been circling in which Charlemagne the God, host of the Breakfast Club,
I
was
was just talking
interviewed
about
on
it.
this very
I was
topic
talking
9 years
about it in the
ago.
video.
Now, Charlemagne was pretty scathing in his criticism of Ye's comments last week, asking repeatedly, quote, how a black man wakes up and decides to become a Nazi in response to Ye's anti Semitic comments and the
Look, look. Shalom the God is a moron. Shalom the God, I think molested an underage, so he knows where his money comes from, and he know he has to toe line. Like if Charlemagne God goes on the a little bit of right or center or something, he knows the left will come after him, because like every most of us, we are not very perfect people, and everybody has, something in their past. Some is bad, some is very bad, some is okay, but everybody has a past, and it depends how somebody can use. And Charlemagne knows it, you know. So if you if you are not going to support somebody, just keep your mouth shut, especially when you have your own problem.
T-shirt he wore at Paris Fashion Week, which read "White Lives Matter," which actually started the whole downward spiral. So the older video of Charlemagne was circulating on Twitter as, alleged evidence of hypocrisy, but I would argue that it's proof of the opposite. The video of Charlemagne shows someone who hasn't succumbed to anti-Semitic sentiments struggling with facts that he's worried might seem anti-Semitic. So let's take a look at that video.
Black people, we don't have no power. No matter what we do, we can all click up.
You see, that's even racism. Why do black people want power? And if you have power, which black person have you helped? See, so what I've seen in the African American community is, especially from the intellectuals or the establishment group, which are people in the media and if you are on the right, you are not part of them. So why should I give you my power if you don't represent me? Because let's say Ford magazine is pretty at least I'm gonna be in a Jewish contest, even if I don't agree with a liberal, I'm still willing to have an agreement with him. I'm just not willing to just destroy them and or to have a discussion. In African American community, no. If Why do most people don't know who Tomaso or Larry Elder or Clarence Thomas? Because they don't go with, So if black people want power, you have to do something. What do you do? What do you do? Why haven't you ever have any established conservative on your shows? Would that, because when you have conservative on your show, it's about you kind of mocking and interrogating them. It would be different than, let's say, if a leftist Mike and dice, So it's like, even if somebody's listening to, it's like, oh, put your suspicion glass on. Have a right of center professor on and treat them the same way you treat Eric Dyson or whatever.
We don't have no organization that has holds any weight. NAACP don't hold no weight. We don't have no organization that holds no weight. You can't speak bad about a Jewish person because they have organizations and they're a close-knit group of people in power who will bring you down. Same thing with gays. You can't say nothing bad about gays because they move as a unit. Black people don't have that. I love Jewish people, but they're powerful. I don't want them to misconstrue anything I'm saying or take anything I'm saying the wrong way. So I would much rather not even have this conversation. I have a lot of great Jewish people in my corner. I have a Jewish conglomerate. Yeah, absolutely. You know why there's not a lot of Jewish rappers? Because there's Jewish owners and Jewish CEOs. They run these labels. They're the bosses. That's why.
So Charlemagne starts by making the claim that black people don't have any
because
power
or
any
what
organization that really holds weight.
He
He then goes on to say that because Jews and gay people have organizations that have power, if you say something bad about them as a group, those organizations will bring you down.
Of course.
In other words, his point is that black people have no power, not that Jews or gays have.
Saying a racist tendency, if you will not be, that is not true. That is not true, because if you say anything racist or if bad thing about any, you can't even say what the N-word without, so that's not true. That's not true.
Have too much. What these groups have.
Batya is going to be very, very nice, so she's not going to challenge it.
have per Charlemagne is a sense of responsibility toward each other, coupled with a few organizations that have power, and that makes all the difference. Now, it doesn't matter if you agree with him or not. In the complete video, the interviewer pushes back against Charlemagne, wisely, I think, to say that, of course, there are repercussions if you say racist things against Black people. And to be clear, I think Charlemagne is wrong about that difference, but that doesn't make him racist. The opposite. His comments seem to suggest that he believes Jewish and gay Americans have figured out how to protect themselves in a way that he envies. Charlemagne then goes on to make an argument about why there aren't any Jewish rappers, which he argues can be explained by the fact that there are Jewish CEOs who run the labels. And this is where he comes closest to the point that I think Kanye has been making, but here's the difference. Charlemagne looked at the facts as he saw them, that he knows a lot of Black rappers, a lot of Jewish entertainment executives, and few Black executives, and probably no Jewish rappers. And he extrapolated from that being hard up, let's say, is what makes you a rapper. And you don't make that kind of music when you can access the entertainment industry from the business end. That's what the argument he's making seems to be to me. Charlemagne looked at the same facts as Ye, but he knew it couldn't be something related to their ethnicity that made Jewish executives that he knows more likely to be executives. Ye looked at those facts and decided it couldn't be anything else but their Jewishness, just like he does in this clip.
The thing about the red hat that drove me to a point of exhaustion, which was misdiagnosed by I'm not going to say what race, what people, doctor, and what hospital, and what media went to. You know I can't say that. It was a Jewish doctor.
And therein lies the difference. What Kanye keeps saying racist is the implication that somehow it is their Jewishness that makes Jews more likely to be, harming him as doctors, as hospital owners.
I want to watch this again because it's so ridiculous. It's not even funny.
Sorry. And therein lies the difference. What makes what Kanye keeps...
my goodness, I want to watch this again because this is so ridiculous. It's not even funny. It's not even funny. Oh my goodness. So, he was misdiagnosed according to him. And then he said, I've never seen this.
As in this clip.
The thing about the red hat that drove me to a point of exhaustion, which was misdiagnosed by I'm not going to say what race, what people, doctor, and what hospital, and what media went to. We know I can't say that.
So what are you going to say?
It was a Jewish doctor.
And therein lies the difference. What makes what Kanye keeps saying racist is the implication that somehow it is their Jewishness that makes Jews more likely to be, harming him as doctors, as hospital owners, or as entertainment executives.
The Jews gonna kill Kanye. I mean, look, this guy is suffering. He needs help. I mean, I should repent for laughing about this because, and I think that's what Batya is trying to. I see she show a lot of compassion.
And that they use that Jewish essence to wield power that harms the Black community. This is, of course, racist nonsense. If being an entertainment executive was the birthright of every Jew, there would be a lot fewer Jewish teachers and shopkeepers and social workers. If Ye thinks that any random Jew can become a Hollywood executive, I have a bridge I'd like to sell him. The reason so many executives are Jewish is not because they're Jewish, but because all people in power tend to help those in their immediate networks. In fact, Kanye got a bit closer to the truth in another video. Watch.
I want my people to rise up like the Jewish people. I'm a competitor. I'm jealous of the Jewish community. I'm jealous of the fact of how they don't abort their babies. I'm jealous of the fact of how they stay with their wives. I'm jealous of the fact of how they do business together. I'm jealous of the fact of how they read their contracts and understand their contracts. I'm jealous of the way Jewish people do business.
Okay.
I actually find that video almost unbearable to watch because Ye's pain is so apparent. And he's right on some issues that Jews have fewer abortions and fewer single parent homes, largely due to socioeconomic factors. Jews are more likely than the average American to have a college degree, so they're more likely to have all the benefits that come with that. He's also right that they do business together the way all groups tend to, favoring intra-group relationships.
I said black
As
people
to
don't do
understanding
business.
their contracts better, I'm afraid that, like the space lasers, those don't come in the Jewish starter pack, at least in my own personal experience. But jealousy is an extremely painful emotion, and I'm not surprised that Ye tried to escape it with a convenient conspiracy theory that Jews are trying to keep him down. And I hope someone manages to explain to him where he got it wrong. Unfortunately, his comments seem to have unleashed a new meme on the Nazi right with, Kanye is right about the Jews showing up on posters over an LA highway and most recently at sports games. Still, I'm glad he's back on Twitter. While no one is entitled to a brand ambassadorship worth $1 billion, hate speech is protected speech, and it's not like he even said an anti-Semitic slur. The debate over his comments belongs in the public sphere. I'm sure you agree with me about that, Robbie. Were you happy
is not
to
going to
see
say
that
anything
Kanye
because
was
Robbie's
back on
is
Twitter with
chicken.
Elon Musk taking the reins?
Well, I think it was fine, I guess, to sanction him
See?
over the initial tweets, which were anti-Semitic.
This guy's your
although
libertarian
I'm not sure they were necessarily
defender.
more
Sure.
vile than anything I see on Twitter all the time. I mean, this isn't mostly a kind of social media moderation radar that you just did, but it's kind of the disparity. They might be based in
Okay.
groups are.
All right.
So in some.
He's very dull and boring too, because he just doesn't say anything. He just move his mouth because I don't know, feels like he doesn't want to be cancelled. But if you're listening, I can introduce you to my rabbi. He's a very compassionate man. He's going to pray with you and read the Torah with you. I know you are a man who's going through a lot of difficulty. You've been going through. You went through a divorce that you did not want to. You have seen your ex-wife embarrassing you, but throwing you, another guy in public. Maybe that hurts your ego. But whatever it is, you probably need to take some time off, get off stage, and just deal with yourself, with you. There's not Jewish people. Yes, maybe if you have problem with someone, you should mention that person's name, put that person on a blast, and maybe other people come forward. But if you're not doing that, that person, you are actually giving them cover. But and what you are saying, if what you are saying is true, it will keep on going on and on and on and on and on. It's not Jewish people; they are people. Whether his name is Goldberg or something, So if you have a problem with someone, deal with that person, individual, instead of trying to, it will not be good if somebody say, "Oh, all black people are thieves," or "all black people are criminals." I'm sure you would not like that. So let's not do to people what we don't want to be done to us. All right, but I would say seek spiritual help. And I know when you are rich,
Some ways, Kanye's talking about.
if you are rich, probably there's only few people who will say no to you. But I hope and pray somebody comes to you and then he'll help you go through whatever you are going through. You need help. There's a lot of people that you can have conversation with. I know some of the greatest rabbi, um, Rabbi Fahi. You know, a lot of great rabbis who, who very compassionate people. So, I mean, this so Jews are not your problem. Maybe reading your contract is the problem. But I think you need getting some spiritual help. Everything is the spirit, so getting some spiritual help might be what you need. And this is coming from your black Jewish brother. I love you. Whatever pain you're going through, there's always it can get better. So stop saying your nonsense. Stop saying that, and then move on to great things. Bye.